Welcome to Lunch Break at the Ann Arbor News, where we analyze the day's news and go behind the scenes with the people driving the day's biggest stories. I'm Stefanie Murray, and I'm joined today by Christen McArdle, the Executive Director of the Ann Arbor Film Festival. Christen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Today, the Film Festival announced that it settled a federal lawsuit against the state of Michigan in exchange for the legislature lifting restrictions on the content of the art for which it awards grants. The festival and the American Civil Liberties Union agreed to dismiss their suit. Previously, the state denied the Ann Arbor Film Festival grant money because the festival was screening films that it deemed objectionable, something that the festival called unconstitutional. So, Christen, this appears to be a landmark win for the film festival, and I wanted you to tell us what this means for the Ann Arbor Film Festival as well as other similar organizations around the state.
Sure. Well, the bottom line issue is we had our funding revoked because of these content restriction guidelines that were enforced on all artists in Michigan, and so what this means is the content restrictions will no longer exist for anybody, which is very exciting. That also, for us in the future, that means we will apply for funding again from the state. Now that our these arbitrary guidelines won't be used against artists anymore.
Mm-hmm. So, what exactly do you think led the legislature to make the move to lift the content restrictions?
Precedence, because there's several other states, historically that had similar guidelines, and when challenged, they have always been overturned.
Mm-hmm. And the U.S. Supreme Court has actually upheld these and this in other states too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And so, at the end of the day, do you think that is this a question about the First Amendment and a question about censorship?
Yeah, I felt like it was. For legislators to deem what is worthy of artistic merit, especially with guidelines that are either very specific or very, very vague in their language, it's not a fair issue. They took funding away from us. Often they didn't watch the films, and they just went by titles and synopses. And for organizations to take such a hit without due diligence and in the argument of what is art and what is not, it's a very gray area, and it's an area that I don't think legislators have the right to make such quick judgments on.
So when will these new restrictions go into effect?
I think they're actually immediately they're going into effect.
Okay.
I know for the 2008 fiscal year they will be in effect for grants.
Great. So for people who haven't followed the film festival before, or maybe who haven't even followed this issue, why should this be important, in your opinion, to the greater public?
Well, it's interesting. The Ann Arbor Film Festival historically, it's been around for 46 years, and it's a forum that showcases most pioneering voices in film. Whether it's most cutting-edge techniques or voices that are speaking about issues that often people are afraid to speak about. We like to champion artists who aren't afraid of any specific content because they're just addressing issues in life, and some issues are harder to deal with. So for us historically, it's very important that artists, especially the ones who are being daring, have that forum and the right to speak their opinions on.
Do you think then that this will raise the profile of the festival?
Yeah, it already has. I just came back from a conference, the International Film Festival Summit, and the president of Variety, which I'm sure you've heard of Variety.
Absolutely.
He just there's between 6,000 and 7,000 film festivals in the world, and the president of Variety just named the Ann Arbor Film Festival as one of the top 10 favorite festivals of Variety, partly because of the issue and the stand that we took in defending artists.
So have people nationally been watching this case
Yes.
as it moves through? Okay. So, Christen, what is next? When's the next film festival?
Will
you apply for grants?
Right, we will apply for grants, and we're excited to get the state support. The festival is March 25th to the 30th, 2008, at the Michigan Theater. Currently, we're programming for the festival. It's going to be a really special year. Again, last year was a really exciting year because of the issue, and I think this is an important year for those who haven't been to the film festival yet to come and see what we do and the filmmakers we like to showcase. And, it's a good time.
And are you continuing to fundraise then through the Endangered campaign?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, the Endangered campaign goes to the end of January, so we have a couple months still to reach our goal of $75,000. We're a little over halfway there, so it's an exciting time, and I'm glad that this happened during the campaign, of course. And fundraising, it never ends when you're a nonprofit, so of course we'll always be fundraising.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thanks
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for watching Lunch Break from the newsroom of the Ann Arbor News. I'm Stefanie Murray.